following program is produced by Marshfield Community Television.
Today we have a couple of events coming up. So we are going to make saucepan brownies, and they have a Hershey's chocolate fudge topping on them. So with the saucepan brownies, you actually make them in the pan. And we start out by melting chocolate squares, which would typically be my baker's chocolate. But I'm really frustrated because what we used to buy for 8 ounces, they decided to make them 4 ounces.
So they doubled the price. They kept the price the same and cut the box size in half.
So this is what we used to use. Expensive. So for my saucepan brownies, we would have 8 squares. So instead, I Googled what can I use in replacement of a square. So what you actually do is take 3 tablespoons of cocoa and, well, first melt 1 tablespoon of butter, and then add 3 tablespoons of cocoa. So this is the consistency, which is kind of hard, you know, just like really a square would be.
Like a square, only it's not formed. It's just ready to be melted, which is what you want to do in the next step.
Exactly.
Is melted with butter.
So 4 squares of baker's chocolate, unsweetened chocolate, or my new recipe. So for one recipe of my bars, it would be 12 tablespoons, or 3/4 of a cup of cocoa, and 4 tablespoons of butter, or 1/4 cup. Okay. So I've got that all set to go, and then we are going to add 2 sticks of butter. So it's cocoa and butter is the first base. All right. And then I'm going to take that over to the stove and melt that while you grease the pan. So we're using a 9 by 13 inch pan. We'll get that melting. So this is the best burner over here. And you want to melt this slowly so that it doesn't burn, because if you put it on high, then you're going to end up scorching your chocolate, and you don't want to do that. So for the last several months, we've been trying to do, you know, some kind of a special giveaway with our Facebook.
Yeah,
so if you go on,
it's Valentine's or it's St. Patrick's Day.
Well, no, actually that was Pie Day.
That was Pie Day at 3/14.
So on 3/14, okay, we gave away a pie. So for our anniversary, I thought it'd be really special because we both like cheesecake. Cheesecake is kind of our specialty.
Yeah, so we have.
So we had to make some cheesecakes for an upcoming event, and we had some extra cheesecake. So I always try to think ahead with what we do, you know, and if we happen to have something really good in the refrigerator, in the freezer, then we can use that for our special giveaway. So for this,
get this open.
So for this month, we have 6 chocolate. It's a really wonderful chocolate cheesecake. And then we're going to top those. Actually, we're going to let the lucky recipient top it with our coconut pecan frosting.
And this is delicious. If you've never had German coconut pecan frosting with chocolate cheesecake, it is to die for.
It really is.
The lucky winner is going to get this.
And what we actually suggest, what I suggest is to have your cheesecake cold, of course, and then heat up your German chocolate, you know, frosting. You put that on, and the cold and the warm, it just, all the flavors come out, and it really is to die for.
It is. Okay.
Okay, so then we take that off the burner. Yep, and you can bring that over.
Okay.
So I will even let you, you can use this. So this is all set. So when it's still hot, like it is, then you add 2 cups of sugar. All right. And then stir that in.
Stir it while I
just dump it. Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
Some things you gradually add. With this, you just put it all in at one time.
Okay. And then am I stirring this all in until it's fully stirred, and then what's next?
Then we are going to add 4 eggs.
Okay.
And I'm going to crack those. And if you want to get that down from the sides before we add the eggs, that would be good.
You use that scraper, or is this good enough? I'll use this.
And you can scrape off your spoon.
Okay.
I still like this method of cracking eggs together because I have still not mastered the being able to crack it like with my one hand. Yeah.
I haven't got
Okay,
that
so
far
you're
either
probably
in
going to
life.
want to use this if you're done there.
No, I can't. I just cleaned it off. Let me get
Don't
rid
you
of
want to
this.
stir with this?
Oh, sure. Okay. Okay.
Do you want to take this out?
You want me to?
Sometimes we have so much difficulty
It's
understanding directions.
38 years. I don't know.
Okay, we want the spoon now, not the scraper.
Yes.
Okay,
That's
good.
going there. That's
awesome.
coming later.
Okay, 4 eggs, cracked one at a time, and stir it in.
You can tell Ruthie's the baker in the family. I like to do the hot food cooking, whether it's grilling or doing something on the stove.
We're going to add another
She
one.
is the lady in charge.
Well, one thing about baking is you really have to be focused
and follow
the
directions.
directions because once in a while, if the phone rings or you get distracted for some reason and you kind of forget where you were, it's really critical that you didn't forget to put in that baking powder or soda and that
Right.
you don't put it in twice. In fact, one time when I made these bars, if you remember,
You forgot
several
the
years
powder,
ago,
didn't you?
I forgot to
Baking
put.
powder?
I'm actually doubling the recipe for a 9x13 pan, but I forgot to double the sugar, so they turned out really awful.
Oh yeah, but you made dirt
Remember
cake
that?
out of it or
So I made a
something,
dirt
didn't you?
cake
Yeah, I remember
instead.
that.
So it turned out good. Okay, so
All right,
that's
all
done.
stirred in.
So we're going to
A little
add
salt.
about 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, and then we're going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And you stir that in,
Or 2 squirts.
or 2 big squirts.
Yep, that's a teaspoon per squirt.
Okay, you got that stirred, and then we're going to add 1½ cups of flour and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And that's all. They're really easy to make. And
I'm working on not making a mess, but I need,
And
I need
what-
a few more years yet.
And what I like to do sometimes when we need, to make several things ahead, it's nice to get these made, and then you can freeze the bottom part, and then use this if you wish.
Sure.
And then you can then bring them back out of the freezer and then do the fudge topping that we'll be doing later.
Okay. There you go. This is all I need now for the end,
That
right?
is- yeah,
Scrape this off. Get it finished stirring and then pour it in the pan.
And then it goes in the pan. Just put that in there evenly. I know lots of people probably don't make, their brownies totally from scratch. I think I probably have bought a box once or twice maybe in our 38 years of marriage.
Yeah.
And I mean, the real fudgy ones aren't bad, that you buy. But I guess what I do like about making all of these things from scratch is we don't have any preservatives in any of, these items that we make. So that's the
right.
good part.
Yeah. All natural ingredients.
Something we made recently, which was fudgy, was a flourless chocolate cake that we made for a friend of ours.
That was very fudgy.
Yeah.
And very.
We actually didn't taste it. I mean, we didn't get to eat it, but we heard good reviews. So sometimes we do try to find some flourless recipes for gluten-free
This stuff
people
is
that
really
have gluten.
This stuff's really sticking to the pan.
It is,
Does that
yeah.
mean that's for me?
Does that mean that's for you?
Is that, yeah, if I can't
Well,
get it out, that's for me after the show?
I guess so, but I'm going to do my best to get more of this out because you know how I always try to save you
Yeah, but
in your health by not
you need
eating
another
too
38
much.
years of marriage. More chocolate. Chocolate and red wine leads
Well,
to a
they
longer life.
say that's
Yeah.
what they say.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'll
But-
get that off.
exercise, I suppose, probably is good too.
Yeah, I
because
gotta
we
work
just-
on that part.
If you just drink a lot of wine and eat a lot of chocolate all the time,
That's the
that's
easy
probably
part.
not
That's the
a
easy
good
part, yeah.
way to live either.
Yeah. Okay, I think that is all I'm
Okay,
going to
so
get
that's
off of there.
good. So we're just going to kind of even that out.
And then what?
So
Bake
we
it at
put this in the oven, and we're going to
350?
bake it at preheated oven, 350. And you can turn the timer on for 28 minutes. And when it's done, I have a little tool that I use. I have this awesome little cake tester. Growing up, my mother used to use a toothpick, but we found this, and it's really invaluable to me, our little cake tester.
Oh, yeah.
So you can just put it in the middle, because if something isn't done, it's gonna take the longest to bake right in the middle. So if it comes out clean with no crumbs on it, then it's done. If you still have some chocolate on there,
pasty things or
then you
whatever,
want to then bake it for another minute or two,
Okay.
and just keep testing it.
Right.
Okay, so
Great.
we've got the cake in the oven, and I have, or the brownies in the oven, and I have another brownies that I made yesterday, because
Okay.
we have a couple of events coming up. So now we're going to frost them with our fudge frosting.
Excellent.
Okay?
Okay.
Awesome.
Let's start. Okay.
So it's very easy. The fudge topping
doesn't
really tastes like fudge. So you are going to add, first melt 2 cups of chocolate chips, and I like to use Nestle's, but you can use whatever brand you like. So I'm going to melt those first over in the microwave. I like to use the same bowl that I melt the chocolate chips in, and then I don't have to transfer them. So as I said, 2 cups of chocolate chips melted, and then we're going to add 2 cups of powdered sugar and 2/3 cup of evaporated milk. Okay, put these in. Okay, so I'm going to put in about half of the powdered sugar first. Oops, that's more than half. And this is when it can get really messy sometimes. Yeah. You want to shake your evaporated milk, and we're doing 2/3 of a cup of evaporated milk. We were just talking about how handy these measuring cups are, because the measurements are on the inside like that, so that you can actually read them, so you know what you're doing.
Now, do you want a face mask on or anything? So
no, I'm just gonna pour half of it on and start it really gently, hopefully.
There we go.
Okay, so we put half of the powdered sugar and half of the evaporated milk in.
You want some more of this in now?
So I'm going to put the rest of the powdered sugar in, and then the rest of the evaporated milk.
Okay.
Okay, so that it doesn't fly all over, I'm just going to lift that up. So we just put it on top there. Okay.
Okay. And you want the milk to go on top there to
Yes.
keep it from flying around.
You remember that one show we did when I was demonstrating how to do
Oh yeah.
do frosting, and
I have stories to tell about powdered sugar. We won't go into that today.
No, powdered sugar can really cause issues in a marriage, actually.
Well, it also it's great to build humility.
Yeah. Sometimes,
especially when Ruthie tells me that I make a mess of sugar and flour all over the sink, and then one day, it was funny. It wasn't funny at the time for you, but I thought it was pretty funny. But there was powdered sugar all over. And it wasn't the spatula got caught in the beater or something.
Something, yeah.
Sugar was all over the place.
It's one of those things,
Those are those things in life that you look at a few weeks later, a few days later, and it is fun.
At the time when you're busy and you don't have time for those messes, you know, not too funny. Especially when your spouse laughs about how funny it is. Now, ordinarily you would be like licking these beaters, but I'm just going to take them over here.
Clean them off first?
No, that's good.
Okay. She's saving the beaters for me for later.
Oh, honey.
That's off. I turned that off.
Yeah, you take it off though, so it doesn't burn.
All right.
Oops. Okay.
Notice even after telling stories, she still calls me honey. So I mean that's a good sign, right?
That's a good sign. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna move this over.
That's going on top of that.
Over. Okay.
And is that the completed product then?
So this is going to be the completed product. So when I make my crust, bake it. And then I go around the outside with a sharp paring knife,
blade.
narrow blade, to just kind of loosen it. And then, like I said, this is really like a fudge topping. The fudge topping is just about as thick as the base is. And I haven't had anybody that tried it that didn't really like it. If you're a chocolate lover,
of which I am,
you really like this, yeah. And you want to make sure, as I said, when you're melting your chocolate chips, to get all of the lumps out, because you want your top, fudge topping
nice and smooth.
Be really nice and smooth. And after you frost it, then I typically put it in the refrigerator, to cool it down.
Okay.
Because it'll take a little while for this to set up. And
a little while is what?
Maybe an hour
Okay.
or so. I mean, if you wanted to have this for lunch today, obviously you want to start more than 2 hours in advance of doing something like this. So what I would typically do would even be to make it one day and then have it ready the next day.
Right.
Sometimes when we're in a hurry or I want to get something done in advance, I'll make the crusts and freeze the crusts in the pan and then bring it out and then frost it then.
Okay, so you can get ahead on some things that need to be.
Right, and I think we've kind of talked about you have to be careful with chocolate that doesn't bloom when it's in the freezer. I know you used to talk about that when you worked at Figgy's. Lots of times your chocolates.
You have to be careful not to get moisture on the chocolate, or don't let moisture build up, whether it's in the refrigerator or the freezer. Because bloom is when the sugar in the chocolate will turn a white speckled, or it can get a real cloudy look to it, and it doesn't hurt the flavor. It just doesn't look pretty, so you have to be careful.
So I will sometimes make these and have them in the refrigerator 3 or 4 days even, before you need to use them, and they stay really nicely in the fridge. Okay.
So is that it? And
So
then you
this
just let it cool down?
is it, yeah. So I know you would like to be able to dig right into this, but because they aren't ready, you're just going to have to hold off.
Right.
But because
another quality in marriage,
it's another,
is patience.
it's patience, which is difficult sometimes. And because they are so rich, we will often cut them. This pan would be cut like either 6 or 8.
Right.
The long way, and
Right.
10,
Yeah,
so we can
they're very
actually
rich,
get
so you can
60
get
to
about-
80 pieces out of this one pan, and a 1 by 1 is really plenty.
Right.
2 by 2 sometimes works. Two.
Or you go 4 by 4 if you're planning on having more than multiple pieces of
Then
it.
you just take it
then
at the same time.
Just take it all at once.
And I've also made these where we've put a dollop of ice cream, or you
yeah.
could put some whipped cream on top, just to kind of make it a little bit different, for a nice little dessert.
Yeah.
So,
So there we are.
so we're going to celebrate our anniversary by going out to our favorite place tonight.
place.
Okay.
Right.
And we'll keep people in suspense as to where our favorite place is, but we typically go there every Saturday night.
I think some of our friends probably know.
I
where
think
we
they
go.
probably do, yeah.
And we may have mentioned it in previous episodes. I'm not sure if we have or not. But
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, so we're going to celebrate our anniversary tonight after we do a couple of catering events today. So from A Slice of Heaven and Cooking with Ruth, we hope that you've enjoyed this episode, and maybe we'll live another 38 years. I don't know. We'll be really old if we do that.
That would
though.
be, yes.
Yeah. So
I got to take better care of myself.
I think so.
I need
Yeah.
to eat more chocolate if I'm going to live that long.
Yeah.
So,
So
okay.
anyway, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Until next time, happy cooking. Is your apron is dirty. Would you put a clean apron on, please?
Yeah, I'm all hooked up. Okay.
So they're fine. Put it in.
Now we're ready?
Do we clap again?
Nope, we're good. If you really want to, you can, but